Back again with my new video of class 7 chapter 9 history, the making of regional culture. One of the commonest way of describing people is in terms of language they speak. When we refer to a person as a Tamil Nadu or an Oriya, this usually means that he or she speaks Tamil or Oriya and live in Tamil Nadu or Oriya. तो किसी भी पीपल को कॉमनेस्ट वे जो है उसको डिस्क्राइब करने का वो उसको हम डिस्क्राइब कर सकते हैं उसके लैंग्वेज के थ्रू कि वो कौन सी लैंग्वेज बोलता है उससे हम पता लगाते हैं कि वो कहाँ का है. ऑल्सो वी ट्रेंड टू एसोसिएट ईच रिलीजन विद डिस्क्रिप्टिव kinds of goods, clothes, poetry, dance, music, and painting. Sometimes we take these identities for granted and assume that they have been existed from time immemorial. However, the frontiers separating regions have evolved over time. Also, what we understand as regional culture today are often the product of complex process of intermixing of local tradition with ideas from other part of subcontinent. As we'll see, some tradition appears specific in some religion, others seem to be similar across the religion, and yet other derive from other older practices in the particular area but take a new form in another religion. The Cheras and the development of Malayam. Let us begin by looking at an example of connection between the language and the religion. The Chera kingdom of Mahadeva Purim was established in 9th century in the southwestern part of peninsula, part of present-day Kerala. It is likely that Malayalam was spoken in this area. The ruler introduced the Malayalam language and the script in their inscription. In fact, there is one of the earliest example of the use of regional language in the official records in the subcontinent. At the same time, the Cheras also drew upon Sanskritic tradition. The temple theatres of Kerala, which is traced in this period, borrowed stories from Sanskrit epic. The first literary work in Malayalam dated to work the 12th century and directly embedded to Sanskrit. Inter- Interestingly enough, a 14th century text, the Ladit Kalam, dealing with grammar and poetry, was composed in Maniparavalam, literally diamond and corals, referring to the two languages, Sanskrit and the regional language, rulers and regional tradition. In other regions, regional culture grew around religious tradition. The best example of this process is the cult of Jagannath at Puri, Orissa. To date, the local tribe people make the wooden image of deity, which suggests that the deity was originally a local god who was later defined with Vishnu. In the 12th century, one of the most important ruler of Ganga dynasty, Varman, decided to erect a temple for Purushottama Jagannath at Puri. Subsequently, in 1230, King Anaga Bhima III decided his kingdom to the deity and proclaimed himself as the deity of the god. As the temple gained in importance as a center of pilgrim, its authority in social political matters also increased. Also, those who conquered Orissa, such as the Mughal, the Marathas, and the English East India Company, attempted to gain control over the temple. They felt that this would make the rule acceptable to the local people, the Rajput, and the tradition of heroism. In the 19th century, the region that constituted more of the present day Rajasthan was called as Rajputana by British. While this may suggest that this was an area that was inhabited only or mainly by Rajput, this is only partly true. There was several groups who identified themselves as Rajput. In many ways, areas of northern and southern central India, and of course, there are several people other than Rajput who live in Rajasthan. However, the Rajput is often recognized as contributing to distinctive culture of Rajasthan. The cultural tradition also closely linked with the ideas and aspiration of rulers. From about the 8th century, most of the present day state of Rajasthan was ruled by Raj- various Rajput families. Prithviraj was one such ruler. These rulers cherished the ideas of hero who fought violently, often choosing death to the battle rather than face defeat. Story about Rajput hero was recorded in poems and song, which were recited especially by trained minstrels. They preserved the memories of heroes and expected to inspire others to follow these examples. Ordinary people also attracted these stories, which often depicted dramatic situation and a range of strong emotion, loyalty, friendship, love, valor, anger, etc. Did a woman find a place within the story? Sometimes they figured a figure as the cause for conflict, as men fought with another to either win or protect women. Beyond regional frontiers, the story of Kathak in heroic tradition can be found in different in different religion in different forms. The same is true of dance. Let us look at the history of one dance form, Kathak, now associated with several parts of North India. The term Kathak is derived from katha, a word used in Sanskrit and other language for story. The Kathaks were originally a caste of storytellers in temple of North India who embellished these performances with gestures and song. Kathak began evolving into the distinct mode of dance in 15th and 16th century with the spread of Bhakti movement. The legends of Radha Krishna was enacted in folk plays called Ras Leela, which combined folk dances with basic gestures of Kathak storytellers. Under the Mughal emperors and their nobles, Kathak was a performer in code, which has acquired its present features and developed into a form of dance with a distinctive style. Subsequently, it developed into tradition of Ghanas. One is a court of Rajasthan and another is Lucknow. Under the patronage of Wajid Ali Shah, the last Nawab of Awadh, it grew into major art form. By the third quarter of 9th century, 9 sorry 19th century, it was firmly entrenched as dance form not only in this two region but in the adjoining areas of present-day Punjab, Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh. Emphasis was laid on in creator and rapid footwork, elaborated customs, as well as on the enchantment of stories. Painting for patrons, the tradition of miniatures. Another tradition was developed in different ways. That that of miniature painting. Miniature was small size painting generally done in watercolor on cloth or paper. The earliest miniature were on palm of leaves or wood. Some of the most beautiful of these found in West Indies were used to illustrate Jaina text. The Mughal Emperor Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah patronized his highly skilled painter who primarily illustrated manuscript containing historical accounts and poetry. They were generally painted in brilliant colors and portrayed scenes, scene of battle or hunting, and other aspects of social life. With the decline of Mughal Empire, many painters moved out to the courts for emerged religious states. As a result, Mughal artists' taste influenced the religion code of Deccan and the Rajput codes of Rajasthan. At the same time, they retained and developed their distinctive characteristics. Another region that attracted miniature painting was Himalayan foothills around the modern day state of Himachal Pradesh. By the late 17th century, this religion had developed a bold, intense style of miniature painting called Banusal, Basa, Basauli. The most popular text of the painted here was Bhanu Datta Rasa Manjari. A close look Bengal, the growth of regional language. As we saw the outest, we often tend to identify religion in terms of language spoken by the people. So we assume that people in Bengal always speak Bengali. However, what is interesting that is while Bengali is now recognized as a language derived from Sanskrit, early Sanskrit suggested that a that the people of Bengal did not speak Sanskrit languages. How they did new language emerge. For the 8th century, Bengal became center of regional kingdom under the Palas. Between the 14th and 16th centuries, Bengal was ruled by the Sultan, who was independent of the ruler in Delhi. In 1586, where Akbar conquered Bengal, it formed the nucleus of Bengal Suba. While Persian was the language of administration, Bengal developed a regional language. Every early Bengali literature may be divided into two categories, one in depth to Sanskrit and other independent of it. The first includes translation of Sanskrit epic. The second includes Nath literature such as Song of Mayanmati and Gopi Chandra, story concurring of worship of Dharma Thakur and fairy tales, folk tales and ballads. The texts belonging to the first category are easier to date and as several manuscript has been found indicating that they were composed between the late 15th and mid 18th century. Purs and temples. For the 16th century, people began to migrate in large number from the less fertile Westile Bengal to the forested and marshy area in southeastern Bengal. This coincided with an establishment of Mughal control over Bengal, with their capital in the heart and the eastern delta at Dhaka. This term included saints or Sufis and other religious personalities, daring colonies and defeat soldiers, various Hindu and Buddhist deities, and even amnestic spirit. Brahmins were not allowed to eat non vegetarian food, but popularity of fish in local diet made the Brahminical authorities relax this prohibition of Bengal Brahmins. The Brihadrama Purna, a 13th century Sanskrit text from Bengal, permitted the local Brahmin to eat certain varieties of fish. And that was all about the story. I hope you liked it. Thank you.